We're going to get rolling here. Welcome, everybody. And right before we start the official December 15th town council meeting, we have one of the things that makes this such a wonderful meeting is we have the presentation of the 2022 Barbara Joe Finch Brightest Speaking on the Bay Awards. And before I hand it over to the town administrator, I just want to recognize Barbara Joe Finch, who used to sit right one of these seats over here next to me. I forget exactly where. Uh, Joe Finch was a councilwoman for many, many, many years, and she actually was the one that got the whole ball rolling on the whole, Christmas lights and the whole bit. And it really just she had the ability at the time to go to Mayor Donovan. She was the only councilman in the history of this town that could go to Donovan and ask for money and get it. So, and you see what she started. So, yeah, I really, she was a special woman, to me. So I just want to, I just want to recognize her. So, I hand it over. I fill up easy. What's the matter with me? Man up, dude. Holly Wall.
Thank you, Mayor. So this year, the town did something new where we hosted the Holiday Lights Tour. So this has been typically hosted by the Chesapeake Beach Railway Museum, and we are going to work with them in partnership in coming years. But this year, town staff managed that, and we want to thank a town resident who helped greatly playing the role of Buddy on the tour. His name is Andrew Gibson. Also want to thank Carla Richard for her great skits on the tour and planning, Martha Kennedy, Philo Blake, and the Chesapeake Beach Water Park staff. So Carla has a video she wants to share, a quick one. And so basically during the tour, guests were able to also vote for our Brightest Beacon on the Bay. Thank you, Carla.
All right.
That was Martha Kennedy.
So moving into the Brightest Beacon on the Bay. So we received several entries this year, and so thank you for all of our town residents that participated. What we're going to do this year is we do have a video of the winners as well, which were released on the town website, and then all of the winners can pick up their gifts. They'll be made available. We'll be contacting each homeowner by the 21st, so we'll contact you to get you your gifts. So Carla, you ready?
All right. So I believe we have at least one of our winners here. Okay, which one was it?
The grand winner.
You can tell us. Which one was it?
The Christmas house.
Okay, well, you want to come on up? I want to get a picture taken with you guys, with the council here.
And thank you for doing this. We've done this for the past 6 years, and this has just been so much fun for everyone. We won 3 or 4 of the last 6.
Yeah.
He
But-
keeps
but-
adding lights to the house.
That's definitely a dump.
She didn't get the vote or registration.
Yeah, so we missed that one.
But the kids were smaller then, so it's a different family.
Thank you
No,
so
no,
much.
it's
No, I'm kidding.
It's just a lot of fun.
But we really enjoyed it. Thank you.
What a cute little family. I know, me too. That would be my kids.
In the middle. You're good.
That would be my kids.
Okay, you ready? Perfect. I'll send it to you. I have your email.
Thank you all. Yes, thank you guys. Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for coming.
Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I say I want your job. You're the funnest. You're really good.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safe drive.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Okay. This is one of BG&E's favorite nights too. I should probably add, you know. Yeah, that was really great. And if you saw the one thing that was up there, it said Mother Christmas. The Baltimore Sun one year actually on the front page had a feature on Chesapeake Beach and Joe Finch, and they proclaimed her Mother Christmas. So that was front page of the Baltimore Sun. That was, you know, pretty special. That was a long time ago. We actually framed it. We had a frame here in town of, you know, Mother Christmas and then Joe. And when she passed away, the town gave it to her family. And you might, so the kids have it now. They were really choked up about the whole thing, So yeah, that was great. The town's wonderful. Thank you, council, for being so supportive every year. The Christmas lights and what we do, we keep spending money on them, and they look great, So now let's begin our town meeting, what I like to call the Christmas meeting. Roll call. Let the record read that the entire council, except for Councilwoman Bodine, is present. At this time, we'll do a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okie dokie. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any ayes have it? At this point in time, I'll ask, is there any public comment on any item on the agenda? Yes, ma'am. Please come up and state your name and address if you don't mind.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Peggy McKelly. I'm representing the Ladies of Charity. I'm sorry, you said give my address?
We know where to find you.
I thought you did, yes. So first, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for letting us tell our story at your October meeting. But tonight, I'm here to speak about food insecurity, the number 4 item under new business tonight. Food insecurity was a new term for me when I started volunteering at the food pantry. I'd never heard it before. And some of you may not have heard it before. Mayor Pat brought it up. So I looked up what the UN has to say about this, and it is not hunger, by the way. The UN says that food insecurity is the lack of physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets family dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. It's a lengthy definition, but that's what it means, and that's kind of a technical term in this nonprofit business. So the median income in Chesapeake Beach, according to the census data that I could find, is $120,000 a year. So who is food insecure? Well, I believe probably some of your neighbors are food insecure. And let me give you some examples. There could be a veteran living on Social Security disability for an average of $1,200 a month and probably no other meaningful income. Could be a senior citizen living on Social Security income and probably not supplemented by a pension for about $1,500 a month. You can see that's way less than $120,000 a year. Could be a single mother raising children, probably working, but doesn't have sufficient income to meet all the needs of the family. Could even be a 2-parent family with 2 jobs, but still insufficient income to meet the needs of the family. And often these folks are using federal programs such as food stamps or Medicaid, in addition to going to food pantries. Just last night, I got an email from a new client, never been a pantry client, I don't think, in her life. And she says, "Good evening. My family has hit a rough spot this year. We are struggling to afford groceries because of the rise in rent, utilities, and our normal bills and loan payments." So she was signing up to become a client. I took a look at our November 2022 statistics for Chesapeake Beach residents that took advantage of our particular food pantry. So that month, we served 189 families in Chesapeake Beach, which represented 525 individuals. So that's quite a few food insecure people during the month. Of those individuals, 36% of them were senior citizens, and 33% of them were children under 18. So I'm asking you to think about your neighbors and the possibility that there may be people you know who are food insecure, and to please consider these situations as you discuss item number 4, which has to do with allocating ARPA funding of about $200,000 for food insecurity and food pantries that serve Chesapeake Beach residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. And I know you have a Christmas party to go to, so I understand why you don't want to stick around for the entire meeting, but please do watch the video in the morning.
I will
you
do
know.
that. Thank you.
And thanks for coming out in the rain.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? Having said that, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of the November 17th public hearings.
Move to approve.
That would be public hearing minute, right, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any ayes have it? Approval of the minutes of the November 17th town council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any ayes have it? Approval of the minutes of the December 5th informational work session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any ayes have it? Next, we'll go to, we've read the town administrator's report. Holly, is there anything you, in particular, that stands out you want to mention, or? Actually, I'm looking around, I can't even find her. Oh, there she is. You can, yeah, or you would just want to take council questions.
Sure, just one update. The town calendars are expected to be mailed out early next week. So they'll be hitting the mailboxes, and then we'll have them here in town hall. So we'll send out an e-blast as soon as they're in the mail.
Okay, very good. If we have any questions of Holly, I'll begin with Councilwoman Hartman. And
Big report this month. There's a lot of papers here. I have a couple things. I just wanted to say on regarding number 3, thank you for the update on that. We do get questions a lot because people are hearing it again. So it's good to know. And I'm especially appreciative that there's a place on our website now where people can go and look for themselves where we stand with dredging and what's going on. And I have another question for you about the public boat ramps, the parking on page 2. Have there been any complaints about parking, like people parking in the wrong places?
No.
And do you think going forward, now that we've changed management of that area, if there'd be any benefit to maybe painting the spaces as Rod and Reel did for their spaces, or putting up a sign saying this is the public space?
Yes, Jay and I spoke about refreshing the painting and making it very clear. So we are working on that.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and then regarding on page 3, the crab pot tree, painting them next year. I think that's a great idea. They have one in the circle at Deal, and it looks fabulous. It looks good in the day, and it looks good in the night. I think that's a terrific idea. That'll be fun to watch people do it. And that's all I had. Thanks.
thank you. Mr. Keith?
Yeah, thanks. I just had one question about Exhibit A. So I think that's great. This looks like we got a $300,000 grant for the exceeding standards, MDE standards.
We got an O&M grant.
Yeah.
It was
Maryland Department.
60,113.
I'm sorry, I misread here. Okay. Thank you.
So it's an
Kath-
operation and maintenance grant issued by MDE for the treatment plant, general operation.
Okay. All right. And so the maximum award is 300,000. That's, yeah, I misspoke. It's 300,000. I was just curious what it takes then to get to there. And this may be a question for later when we're talking more about the water reclamation treatment plant, but just thought I would throw that out here.
Sure. I know Josh is working on the next O&M grant submission, and we did expect that we would receive likely more than the
We
60.
should,
And-
as long as everything keeps going the way it has with no major hiccups in operation, we should be getting a bit more than this year.
Okay.
So it is based on some performance standards. So yes, we do expect it would increase.
Okay, cool. Well, I think it's great that you got one this year. So that's wonderful. And I was just curious, as I said, how do we, if they are giving out 300,000 and some folks are getting substantially more than that, 847. And I was just kind of curious, what they're doing and what perhaps we could do. But
Well, But some of that is based on the volume, so we won't be
Mhm.
able to change that, obviously.
Okay.
But there are some other measures that I think we can control that we're working on improving. So we'll make sure we get a report back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Councilman?
Yeah, my only comments were regarding that particular grant too. I'm presuming that that entire grant is something that the town uses exclusively for its portion of the operation and maintenance of the plant, right? It's not something that the partners are involved with in sharing any of that, is that?
I think generally, since it's operating and maintenance, they would benefit from that revenue,
That
yes.
they would benefit from that? How,
Mhm.
how so?
Well, it would be revenue that would be coming in to the plant that would offset expenses that they're a party to. So,
They'll just kind of come off the top and then
Right.
everything would be split. Okay, I see. Yeah, that was my only question. Thanks.
I'm going to take this time as we end not only the year, but we end Governor Hogan's 8 years in office to recognize the town administrator and the relationship that she and the town had with Governor Hogan. I mean, these past 6 years have been like no other in terms of getting state grants into the town, and that means that means submitting a professional grant application. That means having a reputation up in Annapolis where the people know you by name as they do her. And I think it's time you take a little bit of credit for that, Holly, because we have to break in a new governor, and I'm going to need your help. So thanks for these 6 years, and we're going to go after that new governor just like we did Governor Hogan. So thank you.
Couple questions on the safe routes to school. Any update on the schedule for issuing the RFP?
Wayne and I have a upcoming meeting with State Highway, I believe it's the 22nd next week, to finalize that and have a good path to
Good.
get that released.
Okay. And then the under infrastructure projects, the sidewalk around along 261. Once again, I'd be happy to participate in that in any way that I can help. So just let me know. Building on the grants from MDE, two things. One is I think it's important to again recognize that what that acknowledges is the excellent performance of the plant staff in not just meeting the discharge standards, but bettering them. And that's why we're getting that $60,000 grant. And then I just also wanted to point out that the public will notice on the agenda under new business an item to issue payment to MDE in the amount of $20,300 per consent decree. It's just interesting to me that we're getting a grant from them for $60,000 and we have to pay them 20. So we come out ahead. Good job. And that's it. I'll cover some other stuff during my reports. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I think for the most part, my question was answered. I also had questions about that grant because it was new to me. But it sounds like I think I have understanding of it now. I'm also happy that Councilman Jaworski's math skills are still strong in terms of that was a win. Holly, the item number 3 says federal dredge preparation. I assume that's just a holdover from past reports.
Yes, it's now underway, correct?
That's
And
kind of
almost
detailed.
complete.
And that was all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Operations manager report. You're still here?
Here.
I thought I sent you home after your thing.
I thought I'd stick it out.
Okay, well, thank you for sticking it out. We've read Carla's report. If we have any questions, I'll begin with Councilman Fink and work my way around the horn.
I have nothing other than nice job. It was really neat to be around town this year as always, but videos were pretty good. I'll probably share them with some friends and family.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for all the effort on the events. The Light Up the Town went spectacularly well. As we saw tonight, the Holiday Lights Tour, I was on the second tour of that. It was fantastic, and I'll offer some comments later about that, but it was a very good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla. It's good to have you back. We missed you, but we're glad you're back.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, that you're doing a great job. I had a question. I was wondering who the events committee was.
So I don't know if that's ever been properly defined, but I can tell you who I work with and in all of the events. It is myself, Martha Kennedy, Holly Wall, obviously. And then depending on the event, we also add in Pam Shalmo, Philo Blake, and then a lot of water park staff will work
Right.
for us.
I saw that you were planning in some outreach, to kind of help set some events, and I like the idea that I'm sure that'll create some additional buzz, people talking about that. So good job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and I have no questions.
Thank you.
All my questions were answered by the video. Thank you.
Okay, and so now can I ask you to go home?
I'll take the hint. Thank you, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Good night. Thank you.
You got a new baby to celebrate this new Christmas with. Okay, Public Works Administrator's report. Holly, we've read Jay's report. Holly's here to answer any questions of Jay, who's in the sun on a boat somewhere on a cruise. He missed the power outage and everything. So if we do have any questions, I'll begin with the good councilwoman.
Okay, Holly, I just have one question. The emergency calls at the bottom of the page, are those the same water calls for the water leaks? Or are there more?
Yes, that's anything that's called into like our 24-hour line. So it would be water leak.
Right, but that
any-
was the Ridgefield Station calls. It's not in addition to Ridgefield Station, or is it in addition?
likely is in addition to Richfield Station.
Okay, good, great. And were the LED lights installed
For the
at the ball field?
The ball field. I need to double check on that. They were working on it. I don't think they're in yet though for testing.
I know I could go look, but I haven't yet.
We only turn them on at certain times, so you might
Oh,
not.
right. Okay. Thank you.
I'll let you know.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mars?
Oh, yeah, quick question about the painting of the water tower in Richfield. Is that 100% complete?
Everything except the logo.
Okay. You're going to swing back around in the
Yes.
spring or something and walk
Yes.
weather? Okay. Thank you.
Just, congratulations to Jay and town and everyone else on the Public Works training. Well done. We got to keep our staff up to date. And I mentioned this before, but I asked Santa to give our town a new clock along Route 268 St. Andrews. Do we have any updates on when Santa and the elves will be bringing that?
I think it's another 4 weeks out before we'll actually have it. So they're custom making it. So
Okay.
it'll be at least a month.
We're going to make a special trip back down.
Yeah, well, it's big, so I can understand you can't get it in the sleds. Thank you.
Town's been naughty. I have no further questions for Jay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next, water reclamation treatment plant report. We read Josh's report. I'll stay with Councilman Fink if we have any questions.
I have no questions.
Again, congratulations on Randy Wilkerson and Eric Montgomery completing the OSHA training, obviously very important. And I was wondering on the MDE issuing a new general discharge permit for stormwater associated with industrial activities, any details on how many sites might be impacted?
Pretty much it's for all industrial facilities. This is a permit just for our location. It's a general permit through the state.
I see.
Any industrial properties are required to have a stormwater permit, to my understanding.
So it's not industrial like factories?
No.
Yeah, okay. That's it, thank you.
Mr. Mars?
Yeah, no general questions. Yeah, the OSHA 30-hour training, I just got my 30-hour card recently. I had to redo the course and, and I realized that, how it raises your awareness in more ways than you really anticipate. Becoming more proficient at identifying dangerous situations and things of that sort. That it has a lasting effect. It's not just about, some of the OSHA codes and things like that. So bravo on that. But a good report, young man. Thank you.
Thank you.
No additional questions. Thank you.
Excellent report. It's a nice balance of maintenance and improvements and no disaster.
That was a good thing.
And remember, when you have OSHA, you don't have oh shoot.
Ooh, you got a challenge over there for the wittiest council person. Okay, thank you, sir. Next, code enforcement report. We read Dennis's report. If we have any questions, we can ask Holly. I'll begin with Councilwoman Hartman.
I love this front map of where the cases are. That's really neat. Is there any meaning for the colors or the numbers?
It is, those that are in red are outstanding for a longer period of time, over 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a couple cases that are,
Okay, and the
Outstanding.
number is just where they file in the list? Is
Yes.
that what it is? Okay, thank you. That's it, actually.
No question.
Mr. Morris?
No questions, thanks.
Mr. Frick?
No questions.
Okay, very good. Next, we have no town treasurer's report, town engineer's report. If we've read Wayne's report, if we have any questions, I'll begin with Councilman Fink.
Yeah, a couple quick things. On the heritage, you guys are getting down to the nitty gritty on that. I sort of asked about seeing a punch list, mainly for my own education. I assume you're way beyond that now. Was there anything there that drew concern, or are you pretty comfortable with the resolutions down there?
To date, Jay has been handling that himself. There has been no significant issues he needed my assistance with. So I think I don't know where he is on the punch list, but I think he's done a very good job of making sure that they comply with what they're required to comply with.
yeah, and I could add to that we have not finalized that at all yet. So that will be before the town council before it's accepted.
Okay, all right,
It's not
thank you.
complete.
Follow up then on Kellum's Field, reviewed Kellum's master plan, et cetera, et cetera. Am I accurate in saying that we are awaiting an updated draft, a next iteration of a draft from you?
You are.
Okay. I just want to make sure that what didn't happen and I missed it, because I know that I missed some, which I apologize for. So that's good. So we're still awaiting that.
You are.
Thank you. And then the Route 216 pedestrian path scheduled for a meeting on 12/12. So that would have been passed. So maybe a quick update on that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to have one on 261 as well.
Yeah, we are. I'm going to fix that next month.
Yeah.
So the meeting occurred on Monday. We met with MDE, two representatives from Maryland Department of the Environment. We walked the route. They asked the obvious question of why do you need it when there's a sidewalk on the other side of the road? We think we have given them justification for that, to support that. I'm waiting for a report from them, as also from our environmental scientists, of the summary of the report and what their intended recommendation would be. As soon as I have that, I will get you a plan, as well as a copy of our report summarizing next steps.
That sounds great.
In essence, the concept plan will be done when I receive that.
Do you have a sense on that first item that they understood the need? Because all they'd have to do is stand there long enough to see people walking and cars swerving.
It was very convenient that we had to walk down the shoulder, and there was a Mustang that almost ran over the MDE reviewer.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but I asked her to please move to the side, and that's why we're asking for this pedestrian crossing.
All right, thank you.
Just on the Fishing Creek dredging, I understand the schedule is they're supposed to be done by like the end of December. As far as we know, are they still on schedule?
Yeah.
I mean, they might have lost today given the rain, but hopefully they're almost done.
Right, but they need to come back for the jetty wall still.
Okay. You talked about the 261 sidewalks, waiting for SHA authorization to proceed. Any update on when that might happen?
That's the meeting Holly referenced earlier.
Okay.
That she and I have later next week.
Yeah.
22nd, I think it is.
And I've also been coordinating with them, as you all know, on the flooding along 261 there between the firehouse and Seagate. So they sent me a message a couple weeks ago just saying they're in the process of reviewing it, and they'll update us as soon as they get something done. So thank you.
Good evening, Wayne. Under Kellum's Field, it got a note here, Calvert County and MDA review approval of the grading permit. What is that?
So because we are disturbing more than 5,000 square feet of area, we're required to obtain a Calvert County grading permit. We have submitted that. It's in review. We did an initial pre-submittal review with them. We then submitted, and we got comments back. We have since met with, and I don't recall the gentleman's name, but the gentleman who used to work for the county who ran the park is now the director of permits in Calvert County. So he's well aware of the situation and the issues we're running into. So we have now resubmitted after his review, and I expect approval.
That's not associated with the stormwater drain?
It is associated with.
That's
stormwater drain.
specifically associated with that. I
It
gotcha.
is.
Okay. Richfield Station. No, we've emailed a little bit about Richfield Station there. And in light of the changes in the comprehensive plan map, all things considered today, it definitely sounds like we're very close to the developer wrapping in there. It's certainly been a long time coming. There have been some specific sections of the community that have been exceedingly patient. They've kind of been in the blind a little bit about, and it's not really the town. I know the developer has taken a long time to decide what they want to do over there. But particularly at the trailhead where those townhomes are going to be built there, those folks down there have, they've endured a lot waiting for that developer to get wrapped up down there. Their properties have exchanged hands there. It's really kind of hard to get your hand around any value impact that the incomplete construction has on the sales of those properties and the assessment value of those properties there. Certainly want the town to do everything that it can to help get the developer out of Richfield finally. It has been a long time coming, but I'd like to follow up on the email a little bit there. And I know some of the legal discussions we were having that we can't have in public, but I would like to arrange a meeting and with whomever and kind of get up to speed and kind of see where we're at a little bit with that, if that's possible. And it's all geared towards just removing any roadblocks that are in the way. We can't help the developer help himself, but the town doing everything that it can so that we can tell the residents we're doing everything that we can to get that area wrapped up down there. It's been incomplete. Is it almost a decade now? And again, it's the developer there and whatever their long-term plan is. And now we see we're on the backside of this housing market a little bit, and there's a little concern. Now, will they decide to not complete building out at this moment? I don't know what kind of rules or legalese there may be that may compel him to get it wrapped up now. But definitely interested in lending any discussion, I guess, that I can in helping to facilitate that. Like he mentioned during the meeting, they've been here 30 years, and that seems like long enough. And let's help him get out of his way there, and let's get wrapped up down there. That was all. Thank you.
No questions. Thanks.
Adam?
No further questions. Thank you.
Very good. Deputy's report. We have read the report. If we have any questions of the lieutenant, I'll begin with Madam Councilwoman.
Hi,
Hi. I have no questions for you. Thank you for your service and stay safe.
thank you.
Hi, how you doing? I do have a
Alright.
couple questions, general ones, not specifically about this. I mean, I am going to just, observe the overdose rates have been very low for Chesapeake Beach. I always hate bringing that up,
Yes.
and I think that's great. I've been reading a lot in the national newspapers about fentanyl and how it's spreading. I mean, even back in October, I saw some warnings about how fentanyl is in, colored pills and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And I was just kind of curious how Calvert County, what y'all been seeing in Calvert County with respect to that, as compared to that kind of national
Well,
news.
I mean, we have overdoses weekly. I mean, sometimes we'll have several. We can have more than one in a day. But fortunately, we're quick with the Narcan, and so we don't have many fatalities. But the opioid problem is probably the worst in American history. So it's everywhere. I don't think there's any escaping it. So it's so hard to interdict it. I mean, we're talking about pills the size of a postage stamp. You know, they're hard to find, easy to smuggle, and so a lot of times the best thing we can do is get there fast and give a dose of Narcan and save a life that way. So, but I mean, it's a problem here, but I think we're doing well compared to a lot of other places. So,
All right, thank you. And just a follow-up then, the non-fatal overdose rates that are reported, my understanding is now it's a bit biased because there is so much naloxone out there and people carry it that they don't necessarily call the police or emergency services if a friend or whatever were to overdose. They just administer it themselves. And so even though, you know, we're seeing zeros being reported, that doesn't mean it's not happening
right
in the town, or, you know, I'm sure it's much higher in the county as well, that you're just not seeing it. Is that a correct assumption? Or
that is correct. I'm sure there are a lot of overdoses that we never even hear about, that that friends or family are administering Narcan, and so we'll never hear about it. So I don't know if there's any way to know what the true numbers are. So,
okay, well, you know, the good news is the fatalities are definitely way down, and so that's good. You know,
Yes,
one
sir.
is always too many, but thank you for all that you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's dangerous stuff, the fentanyl. It's not just taking a pill and then ingesting it. It's touching a doorknob handle now. It's picking up something from the road and having a dose and it just going in. That's terrifying. This seems like the appropriate place to maybe say this. I know you may not have an answer for this, but our power outage that we had recently, and it was fixed pretty quickly. But I was surprised that it was out even as long as it was, because I know that we have two ways to bring power into town now after we had the big outage years back. And there was some serious work that was done and reconstructed. Do we know that it was just simply a transformer that blew and it really did affect, and they just couldn't just
I could probably
bring
help
that
you out
comeback
there
in?
and say that'd be an appropriate question for Holly, not for the.
Okay, yeah, I apologize.
Be taking a guess.
There was a large substation, Marriott Hill, which is in Harwood, Davidsonville area, that went out. And
Okay.
so it was much larger than this area and affected
Overarching all of
portions of
the
Anne Arundel
system,
County
so
and
understood.
Calvert.
Thank you.
He brought up a very interesting point, and I didn't even thought of, I guess, because I'm just getting older and I'm out of tune, is that, yeah, I guess the fentanyl parties, if you will, the, you know, party givers have gotten wise to have the, what's that called? The Narcan on, you know, on site. I don't know what to say. I guess just try to be pragmatic and take that as a win in terms of at least, you know, they're doing that. So having said that, I just want to thank you for all you've done. I look out here at this wonderful town and everybody, you know, I mean, it's just such a wonderful town. And I hear over and over again how, you know, how safe we are and how safe people feel and how we want to be safe. And there's no price to put on safety, you know, and crime doesn't know borders. So they, you know, but, you know, it's damn well clear that when you know, when you cross this town line or cross this county line, you know, there's a good chance you're not going back up it if you're a criminal. So thank you for all you do. And you and your family have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir, and you too.
No questions for report. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You know, I kind of echo what everyone just said regarding wire under my desk. I echo that sentiment. There's nothing to be done right now that's not being done. It must be difficult to be helpless. To sort of hear you say we'll never know on some of these cases is actually kind of striking in this era when we think we know all. So that must be tough. I do have one unrelated and sort of minor question. In the last item in your report, the quote unquote loud party on the beach. Are we talking about like local teenagers with beer, or are we talking about people from out of town?
We're talking about local teenagers with beer. Yeah, it's nothing major.
You know, especially this time of year, you're out there doing this work. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If I could just add one more thing, I noticed on this report just before I came up that we have that someone's window was shot out on Old Bayside Road. That was with a BB gun. So I didn't want you to think we had a drive-by shooting or something like that. I just noticed that. So,
Right. No, that's
kind of
always
important point.
It's
So,
always appreciated.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You know, okay. The North Beach Volunteer Fire Department, as always, if we have any questions, just gear them towards Larry.
Mayor, may I just
Yep.
make one comment? Fire department was notified by Santa that he was going to have to reschedule tonight's tour around town because of the weather. So we're going to add another day on to the tour. So check the fire department website and you'll get an update on where he's visiting over the next several days. Thank you.
If he's so busy on these tours, that's why the clock's going to be late.
He's off getting the clock too.
He needs a Deputy Santa, you know? Yeah. Okay. Mayor's report. Since everybody's being brief, I'll follow suit. It's Christmas, you know, it's the holiday season. It's time to give. 8 days ago, December 7th, actually the 81st anniversary of Pearl Harbor. This town, of which we are so blessed to serve, came together in the spirit of community when a young child went missing. We came out in droves to help find that wee lad, and we had a happy ending. I want to give a really big shout out and thank you to Bayside Baptist Church for opening up as a command center for our deputies and our first responders, who also have our everlasting gratitude. But Lieutenant Hollinger, I have a message for incoming Sheriff Ricky Cox I'd like you to give him. Somebody deputized 600 citizens that night. So if you run into any staffing issues, sir, give us a call. We got your back here in Chesapeake Beach. Okay, and I'll end my report with the words of Burl Ives, 1965. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Thank you. Next, planning and zoning report, which we have. Board of Appeals, no hearing. C-Box, we did get a report from Sue. A lot of folks stayed in tonight with the rain, obviously. Climate Change Advisory Group. Larry?
Several things. Earlier today, I participated in a virtual meeting hosted by the Maryland Commission on Climate Change. Discussion focused on state recommendation for protecting against impacts of climate change. We'll be discussing some of this at the upcoming meeting, which I'll touch on in a moment. As mentioned in our town administrator's report, our town is participating in an effort hosted by EPA called CREATE, C-R-E-A-T, which stands for Climate Resilience Evaluation and Awareness Tool. Our town is participating in this effort along with the towns of Chestertown and Crisfield. We have a series of site visits and meetings scheduled for early January, and I'll continue to update everyone on the progress of that. And again, as mentioned in the town administrator report, reminder that our town's Coastal Resiliency Steering Committee Chair Jeff Foltz will host the next meeting Tuesday, December 20th at 6 p.m. here in Town Hall. Town residents and businesses are encouraged to participate in this meeting and share their thoughts on steps our town should take to address impacts of climate change. With that, Co-Chair Keith, anything to add?
Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm ready. EDC.
EDC, I want to congratulate the mayor, Holly, Carla, and all town staff for the outstanding job done on organizing and conducting our town's annual Holiday Lights Tour last weekend. A huge special thanks to our elves, Ellie and Buddy, for hosting the tours. If you saw some of the segments on the film, but it was just amazing what those two, and I'm not allowed to mention their actual names, but if you want to find out who Ellie was, check with Carla. They both did an excellent job of entertaining attendees and promoting our local businesses so folks would support our local economy. We had several events relating to our town's economic development activities were included in the town administrator's report. And I'm excited to report that planning is already underway for the next Taste the Beaches event scheduled for Saturday, September 10th at Kellum's. Stay tuned for further details. Co-Chair Greg, anything to add?
No, sir. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, no, thank you. Kellum's Revitalization Committee, Councilman Morris?
Yeah, I don't have anything new to update there. Councilman Fink, did you have something you wanted to share?
No, I have some overarching comments for walkability, but I'll defer to them. Because walkability's last on the list, in case no one's noticed.
Okay, well, I admire your alphabet skills. Okay, thank you, sir. Twin Beaches Opioid Abuse Awareness Coalition? Sir?
Thank you, Mayor. Our next meeting is going to be in January. I just wanted to remind folks that the deadline for submitting an overdose awareness sculpture to enter yourselves into the opioid overdose awareness sculpture competition is coming up January 31st. So we're looking for folks, artists in the local area to apply for that. And we're going to probably have a more complete update after that on where we stand with that. And just to kind of revisit our conversation earlier, that, one of the things, of course, revolving around drug addiction, opioid addiction is shame and stigma, right? And so, I brought up that, well, a lot of people may be kind of self-treating now that naloxone is out there. So you may not, those numbers being reported are probably lower than what they really are. But I mean, one of the causes of that is because there is still a lot of shame related to that. If somebody is suffering from addiction, often they don't want people to know, and so they kind of keep it to themselves. So I just encourage, if you are suffering, or if you know somebody that is, encourage them to get help. Medicated assisted treatment can do wonders, as well as, getting some counseling. There's lots of folks at the Calvert County Health Department and programs that can help out with that. And so anyway, with that, that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Walkable Community Advisory Group?
Yeah, just a couple comments, sort of repetitive a little bit here, but we have a bunch of projects now underway. We are kind of excited about those, frustrated that they're not going faster, but not frustrated frustrated at the reality, not at anything other than that's how long stuff takes. But it's kind of exciting. And I did talk to Holly, so correct me if I say anything inaccurate here. But in really looking at some of these projects, we will have projects ground broken as early as this coming spring. And that's pretty exciting. So it'd be better if they were already in place, but it's certainly better than having no projects at all. So we're pretty excited about that. Anything to add?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. No unfinished business. Next, we need to go into closed session. So I'll be asking for a motion to close the regular meeting, to go into closed session under statutory authority of Maryland Annotated Code. And I'll probably be saying this in my sleep one day when I long retire from being mayor. Pursuant to general provisions, Article 3-305B, subsection 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any ayes have it. So we'll, those who are required will adjourn into the in the room over there. Folks that'll stay here will, who need to be here, All right, let's get this here. Okay, is there a motion to close the closed session and resume the public meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. You good, Sharon? We good back there? Okay. We're on new business. Okay, new business. Town council to consider awarding a contract to Johnson Construction Company in the amount of $616,740 to the Chesapeake Beach Water Reclamation Treatment Plant. Launder covers from the same plant, capital improvements, line budget item of the FY24 budget.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Town council consider authorizing the mayor to issue payment to the MDE in the amount of $20,300 per the consent agreement CO-13-1837 entered into by the town in January 2013 during the ENR upgrade project. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Town council to consider authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment with Record Recognition Systems Incorporated to assign the contract to Illumit per the Calvert County agreement that the town is using as a piggyback agreement for the traffic cameras located on Bayside Road at Old Bayside at Beach Elementary School.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Okay, I guess I want to say a few words before this one. As we know, food insecurities here in town came to the forefront during the pandemic. It's here. It's not going away. The town of Chesapeake Beach has an opportunity to provide another world-class service to our constituents, our taxpayers, our children, by using federal American Rescue Plan funds we received as a result of the pandemic. What we have before us is the opportunity for the council to carve out 3% of our ARP funds, $200K, to provide food insecurity, food pantry services to the citizens and families of Chesapeake Beach. To be clear, this is not charity. It's a constituent service to our taxpayer citizens, some veterans who just don't make enough money to feed their children on a regular basis. These children go to the same schools as ours do. They just don't eat as well. So that's what I want to say on this officially. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any council discussion? I'll begin with Councilwoman Hartman.
I was surprised in our last discussion. It was an excellent discussion on whether we should give money to the Ladies of Charity. When the Ladies of Charity came in, they gave a very impressive presentation. And I thought we should totally support this because how they support our town. A small organization in our small town helping people directly, immediately here. I found it really important. And in our discussion, I found out there's even more of them, like the Baptist Church. What a great organization. And it's here. It's not, in a country somewhere far away. It's not a huge government federal program that people have to give do a lot of paperwork to get into. They don't have to spend a lot of time embarrassing themselves because they feel like they can't support their families. And I just think the local organizations for our people here are magnificent. And I'm totally supportive of this and look forward to hearing more about the different organizations that are supporting our people that we can help support because they live here, we live here, and they pay taxes here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I second that. And I think it's a great cause. And I look forward to, us figuring out how to give this money out equitably to the various organizations who provide for our citizens. So, thanks.
Thanks. Sir.
Yeah, think that our aim with these funds are capital improvements, and that the capital improvements that support and affect a lot of families in need in the beaches. So I'm in support of this. Thanks.
Thank you. And I want to comment again. Recognizing hunger in our town is not new to the compassionate citizens of Chesapeake Beach. For many years, the town participated in the End Hunger Dragon Boat races. The boat entry fee was $2,000 or so, and it was funded every year by a wonderful group of town employees and volunteers. Year after year, these people got together on payday and funded the $2,000 Dragon Boat fee. They never asked for acknowledgement, and they don't ask for it now. But I believe that right now is the time for me to go on the record and to let people know who was paying that $2,000. And it was the volunteers and employees of the town of Chesapeake Beach. So I say thank you to all of them for what they did for many, many years.
I'll just echo sentiments of my colleagues that I strongly support this idea, and I hope we can move forward in a timely fashion specifically to help the ladies of charity. Thank you.
Yeah, we covered this pretty well in the work session. We all covered it well here. It's infrastructure, it's capital improvements, could be helping people with opioid abuse, could be helping people with fire safety, electrical safety. This is all part of that, and it strikes close to home, and I support it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it, 5-0. It's unanimous. Thanks for hanging in there. And thanks for all you do. Yeah, I mean, I think I can speak for the entire town and say that we just are so, grateful for someone to be there for the people that, like Keith said earlier, we're talking about shame. And I was just thinking, man, there's a lot of shame. People who are bullied are, that they're shamed. People with mental health are shamed. The opioid problem. People who are hungry, they're really people who are hungry. They're really it's shameful. I mean, you see them in the store with their card. They're hiding that show the whatever that food stamp card is that they have. I mean, it's a shame to say. I'm 50 years old. I don't make enough money to feed my family. That is pretty. That's embarrassing. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate that. And we'll move on to the next item, which is Town Council to consider the cancellation of the August 2023 town meeting for summer break. As you all know, this is something we've been doing now for 5 or 6 years. I'm sure I've told each of you individually how the break is greatly appreciated by the town staff and the mayor, quite frankly. I mean, I see you shaking your head, Sharon. I can end with that her shaking the head. We have any comments of the council? I'll be glad to field them. Are we good?
Well, I'll miss you all in August.
Yeah, right. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Very good. Okay, at this time, we'll ask our one member of the public, is there any public comment?
On behalf of the ladies of charity and the people that we serve, we appreciate what you've done tonight. And it takes a village. We don't do it alone. So thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. And I'll begin with the lightning round. Councilwoman Hartman.
My gift to all of you is a short lightning round comment. Happy holidays to all, and I look forward to reconvening in the new year.
Thank you. Sir, I did appreciate your gift, by the way.
Just want to do the same. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy your friends and family. Hope you all come back safe, next month. So.
Very well.
Happy holidays, and I'm looking forward to reconvening in 2023.
Indeed.
Just for the record, I'll note that there's a variety of holidays during this time of year. So I'll just end by wishing everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, depending on which one you choose to enjoy, and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I do have a couple things. I will keep it brief. First of all, I want to make a note about the power outage. Power goes out, people panic. I kind of curled up with a blanket and some candles And, our community was.
TMI,
quickly-
Charlie, but go ahead.
TMI. Our community within Seagate was quickly texting back and forth, but sure enough, emails, and you couldn't get to BG&E's site. They were overloaded, but we had information coming from the town, 2 or 3 different updates, and the lights were back on earlier than expected. That's a nice benefit, living in a small town. So I personally appreciate that. I suspect everyone else does. And for anyone in the public who's still watching, if you're not signed up to receive those town emails, there's good reason to be so signed up. Second comment is I gotta offer kudos to Chesapeake Village. I don't know how they do it. I took a friend through there on Saturday night, and the bus tours were going there. Every inch of every street in that neighborhood has bags, candles, sand. I was talking to some people. There's who does this? Like, who goes and lights these things? And I didn't get a good answer because they weren't really sure. But I don't think they just magically appeared. So my hat's off to Chesapeake Village community. That is just outstanding. Happy holidays. I might just wish everyone a happy Festivus. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. You guys have it.